What was it like dealing with Les Thatcher? How was he dealing with? Because he's a very old school, and
Mhm.
I know, he went on to become pretty critical of a lot of aspects of modern wrestling. But that's
Mm,
kind of common. Different generations, different mindsets. Uh, but 2002 was vastly different to 2022. So,
mm.
what was it like working with him? Did you learn a lot from him? And how was his general like demeanor?
To me, he was very nice.
Okay.
I never saw him yell or scream or insult anybody. He was kind enough to let me come and train when I didn't have a deal. I wasn't one of his guys, but he saw the effort I put in. He let me come in. Um, yeah, he was nothing but gracious to me. And I don't know what he says about modern wrestling, but I think it's if he's saying he's not a fan of what it's evolved into, I think that's it's always evolving. It's always evolving into something that, you know, isn't what we grew up on. And so then do we go with it or do we fight it? And I could see why people want to hold on to something so beautiful because the wrestling he grew up on and the wrestling he did was a beautiful style of wrestling.
And yet, 20 years, there's going to be people from this generation who are going to be the same exact way. Wrestling's going to develop whatever into wrestling is. And there's
Yep.
going to be people who are like, why can't it go back to what it was in 2023? And that's just,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying anybody's wrong for thinking that way. I'm not saying they're right to think that way. Just what they prefer, like you said.
I just remember one time in Gorilla, it was a 205 match, and look over to Adam Pierce. Back in my day, a DDT on the floor used to be a finish. Uh, because that is such like an old timer thing to say, like, a superplex, it'd be a stretcher job, which it would be. And back in my day, a DDT on the floor would be a finish, but these
Yeah.
guys are just throwing it away. And we knew how absurd it was to say at the time, and that's all. Yeah, it's just it evolves. The I imagine the stuff that Les Thatcher was doing might make Buddy Rogers roll over in his grave because what are you doing hitting the ropes like that? Who knows?
People were
It's
critical of Steamboat and Savage and Flair and Steamboat because people from before then, they're like, why are they doing so much? Why are they working so fast? So
yeah,
that's an example right there.
yeah, and it's true. You look at Luthez versus Buddy Rogers, fantastic stuff. Uh, versus Steamboat and Flair. Well, what's Flair doing going to the floor?
Mm-hmm.
He's just going and taking breaks and stuff like this. It's totally different than the old style. The way they run these spots. Um, yeah, it's very different. I love Flair and Steve, but my God, that stuff is maybe the best.
Yeah, it's evolution and times change, attention spans change, and sometimes you'll still get like you look at a guy like Gunther, like he wrestles a modern style too, but like he's so physical and he's such a throwback and he's so incredible at what he does. So I don't know. I think anything can work if it's done well and people want to see it.
Mm, I think so too. That's it. You just do it well. Do it well. Yeah.